Prince Harry back in London to celebrate the anniversary of the Invictus Games, but he won't be seeing his father, King Charles. Foreign correspondent James Longman is in London for us this morning. Good morning, James.
Yeah, good morning, Michael. Prince Harry is back in the UK.
It happened in a single laugh. Graham Norton, Britain's most beloved chat show host, looked straight into the camera and quipped that Prince Harry might simply skip Birmingham 2027 because he's afraid the crowd will salute, just not him. The studio howled. Within minutes, the clip hit X, TikTok, and YouTube's trending page, racking up 1 million views before Harry's plane had even touched British soil. What was meant to be a triumphant homecoming for the Invictus Games founder mutated instantly into a national punchline. And behind palace gates, phones buzzed, aides blanched, and King Charles allegedly muttered a single word: betrayal.
Charles is too busy to see his son, but that Harry hopes to see his father soon. Now, Buckingham Palace is not commenting on any of this, and I think it just serves to deepen the speculation that there's a real rift.
Prince Harry's flight from Los Angeles cut through rain clouds over Heathrow like a silver apology letter. The tabloids framed it as his redemption arc, a short, purposeful trip to attend a St. Paul's Cathedral Thanksgiving, marking 10 years of Invictus. Invictus had always been Harry's proof that he was more than a spare. Soldiers trusted him, the public admired him, and even critics conceded that the games were a rare royal endeavor untouched by scandal. For weeks, Sussex PR briefed reporters that this service would be a fresh chapter, rooted in duty. Yet as soon as Harry's convoy rolled through London's grey avenues, the optics went sideways. King Charles and Prince William announced a joint garden party at Buckingham Palace the very same afternoon. No diaries magically cleared for Harry, no photo op handshake to thaw the frost. Cameras zoomed in on the empty royal pews at St. Paul's, and commentators whispered, if family won't show, why should anyone else?
Jeer, when Harry spoke to our Will Reeve, he told him that he hoped to see much more of his family, and he hoped perhaps that the sickness would bring people together, but that is clearly not the case on this occasion. No senior member of the royal family will be at the Invictus again.
That mood trailed Harry like a storm cloud. The cathedral ceremony was dignified. Hymns, veterans in dress uniforms, polite applause. But outside, lenses waited for any flicker of emotion. Harry exited to the thud-thud of shutters and the faint chant of protesters calling him the California Duke. Somewhere in that moment, the perfect headline he'd hoped for slipped away, replaced by uneasy questions about whether Invictus still belonged to him at all. But uneasy turned to explosive the very next night. Graham Norton's studio is painted a cheerful scarlet, yet the humor can cut like a saber. Sitting between A-list guests, Norton raised a wry eyebrow and tossed out the line that detonated across Britain. He might not bother turning up in 2027. I think he's worried the audience will salute, just nod at him. The clapback was surgical. There was no vulgarity, no yelling, just a perfectly timed jab that captured a growing national sentiment. The live audience erupted, and Harry's painstakingly cultivated Invictus identity collapsed into a GIF format quicker than you could tap retweet. Within an hour, the hashtag Invictus or Invisible occupied Twitter's top slot. TikTok teens lip-synced Norton's punchline. Even normally sedate morning shows replayed the snippet on loop, each replay bending Harry's proudest project into something almost ridiculous. Journalists called it a cultural pulse check.
Monday, William and Charles will have a joint event, and this afternoon, in this beautiful sunny afternoon here in London at Buckingham Palace, King Charles will return to the garden party, the first time he's been back at that event since his return to public life. Robin?
All right, James.
If Graham Norton, whose power lies in warmth, not vitriol, was laughing at Harry, it signaled that the mainstream had moved from empathy to mockery. That shift would haunt every phone scroll Harry made for days to come. And when that clip hit his phone in Montecito, the fallout was immediate. Sources inside the Sussex compound describe a scene bordering on Shakespearean. Harry, already jet-lagged and tense, watched Norton's joke go viral in real time. Aides say a crystal tumbler slammed onto the marble countertop hard enough to crack the rim. An expletive rang through the kitchen, followed by Harry's furious demand, "He's mocking wounded warriors. Do they think that's funny?" Staff scrambled. One comms officer proposed a heartfelt tweet praising Invictus competitors. Another drafted a statement condemning public attempts to politicize veteran service. Harry reportedly rejected both. too defensive, too weak, too late. By dawn, Sussex Bar scheduled emergency calls with the Invictus Foundation board. Sponsors wanted reassurance. Will Harry definitely front Birmingham 2027? His answer was a hesitant, "Of course," but insiders caught the tremor in his voice.
Isn't it amazing? This is the result, Nigel. You and I have never had it. It's called religious conversion. The Harry we have now is not the Harry we had then. This is not the Harry of the Invictus Games.
Moments later, palace phones rang. King Charles's private secretary asked whether Harry might visit Clarence's house for tea. An olive branch? Not exactly. According to one aide, it was more warning than invitation. Attend the games, end the headlines, or risk losing the last royal bridge you've got. Yet, royal bridges were only half the equation. The Invictus ship itself was springing leaks. Behind gilded doors, King Charles is said to have used language sharper than the crown's diamonds. He branded Harry's wavering a disgrace to duty, and made it clear the palace would not spin excuses if the founder ghosted his own games. Attendance isn't optional, a senior aide briefed. It's responsibility. Courtiers leaked morsels to the press. Charles feels Invictus is the last unburned legacy Harry holds. William considers absence a slap to veterans. Camilla simply calls the saga tiresome. The following day, father and eldest son appeared shoulder to shoulder at a Commonwealth Veterans reception, an unsubtle reminder that the monarchy still honored service even if its rebel prince hesitated. Headlines wrote themselves. Royals rally without Harry. Suddenly, Invictus's future wasn't just a sporting calendar entry, it was a litmus test for whether Harry still understood the creed of duty first.
What's he done now? He's been persuaded of the doctrine of woke and the doctrine of mental health. God help him. And it's like a religious conversion. Every value that this man believed in.
But royal showdowns paled next to the logistical nightmare forming inside the Games organization. Planning a multi-sport event takes years of spreadsheets and goodwill. Birmingham's council had already inked venue contracts. Corporate partners had staged glossy promos promising the biggest Invictus yet. But when Norton's clip exploded, phone lines heated up. "Is Prince Harry still our figurehead?" asked a chief sponsor whose logo adorns every athlete's track vest. The tentative yes they received sounded suspiciously like a maybe. Veterans monitored the drama with growing frustration. For many wounded warriors, Harry's presence isn't celebrity sparkle. It's validation. He served, he bled their blood, he listened. Or at least he used to. In a blistering Telegraph comment column, one former Royal Marine wrote under a pseudonym, "He was one of us. Now he's a cameo star who drops in when the narrative flatters him." On Reddit forums, other veterans echoed the sentiment. They didn't want Instagram-friendly speeches. They wanted their brother-in-arms to stand beside them on British soil, rain or shine. Sponsors sensed the emotional undercurrent. A single misstep could erode ticket sales, donations, and the very ethos that sets Invictus apart. And so they pressed the Sussex team for a public commitment date, only to be told, "Statement forthcoming." While statements stalled, public opinion 26 million strong was hardening. May 2025. YouGov polling delivered a gut punch. Just 27% of Britons viewed Harry favorably, with 63% negative, the worst number since early 2023. But raw data only hinted at the mood. Street interviews captured ex-supporters saying they felt duped. Morning radio callers questioned why taxpayers should even host the games if the founder couldn't face them. A Daily Express online poll, 200,000 clicks in 48 hours, found 72% believed Harry should apologize for trashing the monarchy before stepping on a UK stage again.
Best friends with Meghan, so no, it is days like today when I really miss having her around and miss being able to share the happy news. But with the ring and with everything else that's going on, I'm sure she's with us. I'm sure she's with us. Yeah, jumping up and down somewhere else.
Another 80% no longer associated him with service or duty. Tabloids embraced a new moniker, the California Duke. Broadsheets, usually more restrained, printed op-eds accusing Harry of Hollywood sanctimony. The BBC's flagship politics show assembled a panel where even the center-left commentator sighed. He's trading grit for glitz, and Britain sees it. And yet, through the escalating din, one voice was conspicuously absent. Not a single Archewell press release. No Instagram reels praising resilience. Not even a courtesy good luck to the athletes tweet. Meghan Markle, once radiant in Invictus photocalls, vanished from the narrative like smoke in a spotlight. Insiders whispered that she'd warned Harry months earlier. Returning to the UK invites chaos. Her rationale was brutally pragmatic. Why risk booze, awkward balcony snubs, and hostile front pages when Brand Sussex had pivoted to California sun and luxury wellness? Behind the scenes, the couple's staff shakeups continued. 4 press aides reportedly departed within 3 weeks, fueling rumors of strategy turmoil. The effect of Meghan's silence was double-edged. To Hollywood, it kept the couple's personal brand uncontaminated by British scandal. To British veterans, it felt like abandonment. One Army medic tweeted, "She loved the cameras in Sydney 2018. Where's the support now?" Harry, sources say, read those comments at 2 a.m. Pacific time, swiping until the screen blurred. The more he scrolled, the smaller Montecito felt. Its infinity pool serenity no match for a million-strong chorus questioning his core identity. And so, we arrive at the question that now defines his legacy. Invictus is scheduled for Birmingham in late summer 2027. Planning committees need keynote scripts, security protocols, and broadcast deals signed, all contingent on one man showing up. Yet Harry remains publicly silent. If he attends, he must face potential boos, icy royal body language, and tabloids hunting the slightest flicker of discomfort. If he stays in Montecito, he risks collapsing the very movement he once called "my life's purpose." Analysts warn of a domino effect. Netflix cooled after middling viewership numbers. Spotify already severed ties. Book sales for any follow-up memoir look shaky. Invictus, say brand experts, is his last bulletproof asset. And there's a deeper cost. For veterans who lost limbs, friends, and sometimes hope, the games are sacred. If the founder won't stand among them when the world's cameras are rolling, how long before sponsors and spectators drift to newer spectacles? So the stage is set. Does Prince Harry board that flight to Birmingham, greet the crowd, even if they jeer, and prove that service still outweighs ego? Or does he watch the opening ceremony from a California living room, another millionaire talking about purpose between ocean view shots? In the end, the choice is brutally simple. Either he reminds Britain why they once called him a hero, or he lets a single late-night joke fossilize into epitaph, the Prince of Cancellations. And somewhere, Graham Norton's studio lights will glow red, waiting for the punchline, "Britain writes next."